Let the Ants Try by Frederik Pohl. Narrated by Chenevert. Let the Ants Try by Frederik Pohl. The story was first published in Planet Stories, 1949. Gordy survived the 3-hour war, even though Detroit hadn't. He was on his way to Washington with his blueprints and models in his bag when the bombs struck. He had left his wife behind in the city, and not even a trace of her body was ever found. The children, of course, weren't as lucky as that. Their summer camp was less than 20 miles away and, unfortunately, in the direction of the prevailing wind. But they were not in any pain until the last few days of the month they had left to live. Gordy managed to fight his way back through the snarled, frantic airline controls to them, even though he knew they would certainly die of radiation sickness, and they suspected it. There was still a whole blessed week of companionship before the pain got too bad. That was about all the companionship Gordy had for the whole year of 1960. He came back to Detroit as soon as the radioactivity had died down. He had nowhere else to go. He found a house on the outskirts of the city and tried to locate someone to buy it from. But the emergency administration laughed at him. Move in if you're crazy enough to stay. When Gordy thought about it all, it occurred to him that he was in a sort of state of shock. His fine, trained mind almost stopped functioning. He ate and slept, and when it grew cold he shivered and built fires, and that was all. The War Department wrote him 2 or 3 times, and finally a government man came around to ask what had happened to the things that Gordy had promised to bring to Washington. But he looked queerly at the pink hairless mice that fed unmolested in the filthy kitchen, and he stood a careful distance away from Gordy's hairy face and torn clothes. He said, "The secretary sent me here, Mr. Gordy. He takes a personal interest in your discovery." Gordy shook his head. "The secretary is dead," he said. "They were all killed when Washington went." "There's a new secretary," the man explained. He puffed on his cigarette and tossed it into the patch Gordy was scrabbling into a truck garden. "Arnold Cavanaugh. He knows a great deal about you, and he told me, if Salva Gordy has a weapon, we must have it. Our strength has been shattered. Tell Gordy we need his help." Gordy crossed his hands like a lean Buddha. "I haven't got a weapon," he said. "You have something that can be used as a weapon. You wrote to Washington before the war came and said—" "The war is over," said
Sample complete. Ready to continue?